on, you mute sacks of flesh. Put your backs into it. I'll not lose another day to the tide. The Lord Dread awaits. Its sails billow with Dallas's breath.
The Magister stops, barking orders. He sniffs the air like a predator, turns to face you, the wolf eyeing the deer.
Intense fellow, this one. Keep calm and courteously bid him good day.
You do not get to make that decision. That decision is mine. A good day? Let's talk about a good day. Tell me, have you ever been strung up by the hands? Your body swinging like a bell's clapper as your bones are being broken with cast iron rods?
Say I've seen something similar on the gallows just outside of town.
Ah, you've met with what's left of Siva, have you? I'm so very glad you're familiar with my work.
Thinking about killing you now.
He licks his lips. Dry flesh turns wet.
See, I'd like to string you up too. Rack you with rods and leave you dangling over a puddle of your own blood and piss.
How much HP has this guy got? 415, huh? I am going to say, what have I done to deserve such hostility?
Oh, no, that won't do at all. Innocence is a mask that doesn't fit you. I'm very good at what I do, see? I don't even need a source hound yapping at my side. There was a whiff of something in the air when you approached. A current of filth. That is to say, sauce. Best convince me I was mistaken.
I take a step closer. I'm going to do a strength persuasion and whisper that he has a lot of nerve to accuse the best source hunter west of Arcs of being a sorcerer. Persuasion successful.
He leans in closer and sniffs the air once more.
Interesting. So I was mistaken. Must have been ambition I smelt on you, not the magic that dare not speak its name. Very well. In that case, we'll forego the gallows and turn straight to the hunt. The very definition of your order's existence. Seems peaceful here, doesn't it? A quiet day in a quiet town. One wouldn't think these drifting woods toss on dwarf-troubled waters.
A quiet town? There's literally poison up and down the frickin' coast.
But they do.
So what's going on with the dwarves? What troubles are they facing?
Consider for a moment the dwarf. What is he? A mule? A beast of burden? But some defy that role. There are rats among them, dancing to their rat queen's tune.
Alright, I really don't like this guy. I think I'll do our quests, and then I think I will kill him.
I've need of a rat catcher.
I need him to make a point. If I am to accept the role of a rat catcher, I need more concrete information.
Of course. I must depart post-haste. But Julian here will stay behind and be a good little parrot. Ask and he will answer.
Stay behind? But I've my orders. Same as you. Dallas.
Like I said, Julian is staying. And with that, I must be off. No hard feelings about the death threats, of course. How about we part shaking hands instead of stringing them up?
I shake his hand and I'll look into the trouble with the dwarves.
There's a moment of fleeting suspicion as his glove closes round the bones of your hand, but only a moment. He grins darkly.
How very heartwarming. One last thing. The Magisters here are diligent men and women. A stranger like you may run into troubles with them. Should this happen, just wave this piece of parchment in their eager little faces. My signature will placate them without fail, I assure you. Adieu and good luck. The Lord Dread awaits. The use of the gallows I pass on to you. The time has come, my stitched-lit lovelies. We set sail. Get on board and man your stations.
Left behind like a dog. Bah! 7 curses upon that ship.
The Magister is rubbing the dirt off his robes, none the worse for wear, apparently, from the blast of magic that knocked him off his feet.
You! The supposed source hunter! I'd be whining and dining aboard the Lord Dread if it weren't for you. Your meddling in Magister affairs had better be worth it.
I tell him his superior told him to report to me.
Yes, I am very much aware. Wasn't my damned head that hit the floor back there. Now answer me. Did you meet with a Magister caravan on your way into town? The hour's growing late and I'm beginning to worry something might...
I affirm that I did.
By the bishop's bones, you saw it? Now, out with it, man. What happened?
I give a mystic response describing the scene in detail. Even the dead would tremble at the despair I witnessed.
Voidwoken. That means source was used. Which means some third party must have attacked first. And I have a fair idea who that might have been. Raymond, that old goat. Always suspected there's more to the Driftwood dwarves than meets the eye. Hate to admit it, but I think he may be right. Too many things have gone wrong along Reaper's Coast to attribute to bad luck. Magister ship sinking, weapons disappearing, and as you've seen, a caravan attacked and destroyed. Rumour has it the Dwarvian Queen herself is behind these acts of sabotage. That is what I want you to prove.
Well, if I'm to prove these accusations, I need to know where I need to start looking.
There's a local thug, Lohar. He runs an operation out of his hideout beneath the Black Bull Tavern. I suspect this man of being a spy for his queen.
It may be interesting to have a word with him. Find out what he's up to. Where I really want you to ferret around is Reaper's Bluffs, to the west of Driftwood.
It's wild territory, remote and hostile, where I believe the dwarves may have set up a base of operations away from prying eyes.
That was a different voice actor. Not this line, but the previous line? It was someone else talking. So I guess that was new speech, but I don't get that.
Should you find any such place, and better yet, proof that Lohar is working on behalf of Queen Justinia, you will be handsomely rewarded, I assure you.
Why do they suspect the dwarves to be the culprits?
They've always been snakes in the grass. Cheap labour, sure, and hard workers too. Half of them are their queen's spies. Her eyes, her ears, her poison-pouring hands. You know what Queen Justinia is like, surely. A tyrant and a master strategist to boot. In that case, go forth and let the hunt commence!
Alright, take my leave.
I miss Joe. Hello, mister.
The little boy looks at you. He picks his nose.
You be careful. My daddy's a magister.
You better be careful. You're really close to just falling into the water right there. Whoops!
No, he's not. His daddy's a fisherman like most daddies around here.
I tell him that's nothing. My daddy's a god. Probably.
They stare at you in disbelief. Then they start laughing.
You're weird.
What are they expecting to see staring into the water?
We're waiting for our friend. He went for a swim. He'll be back soon. He went swimming all the way to Fort Happy. Fort Joy? That's what I said. Fort Joy. He's going to find his mum and bring her back.
Ask if their friend's name was Joe.
Cool. How did you know that? Mister, have you seen our friend Joe?
I know he's not amongst the living anymore.
Tell them the truth about Joe. They have to grow up sometime.
What they don't know can't hurt them. Don't tell them.
Kids are resilient. Tell them the truth.
Alright, more people think I should tell the truth. Alright, kids, it's time you heard the truth. Here's the thing. Joe was eaten by a shark.
The horror grows on their little faces.
No, that's a horrible thing to say. I bet it wasn't Joe. I bet it was someone else's leg in that icky shark.
She bursts into tears, then looks from you to her and back again, then starts crying too.
I kneel, hug both children to me, and tell them it's going to be alright.
After a moment, the crying subsides. Ben and Harriet snuggle into you.
You're cold. So where's Joe?
I give the scholarly response. Okay, so let me read all three. One of the responses says, I can tell him he's nice and warm in the belly of a shark and then walk away like an asshole. I can tell him that Joe's gone somewhere lovely, our farm or something like that. You know the response you tell your 3-year-old when their dog dies? Tell him he's on a farm somewhere enjoying himself. But I'm going to pick the scholarly response and tell him Joe is with his ancestors in the Hall of Echoes. I'm going to omit the word hopefully.
It's okay to say you don't know. You don't have to make stuff up. I think we should go home. Come on, Ben. Thank you, mister. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, mister.
They skip away, still children, but now, somehow, older than before.
Oh, yay. Pick the water arrow.
You, stranger, what are you doing here?
Explain that I have business with her superior and walk away.
Grumbling, the Magister turns back to her patrol.
Can't wait to kill you all.
Hackles raised, the dog barks at the sand built up beneath the building.
I tell her it's a good dog.
You're nice, and I'm a good dog. Yes, I am.
Ask what it's barking at.
There's something not right, and that's wrong. It's under the house thing there, and it's bad. I can smell it.
I tell it that I trust its instincts and I'm gonna look into it.
You be careful now. What's under there smells real bad. It smells evil.
What's this place?
I don't care if we tear this place apart plank by plank. We will find him.
You can't just
You've been warned, Barnes. Now, get back to your fish.
The Magister turns, and his eyes fall on you.
You, tell me. Have you seen a man acting suspiciously near here? Grey cloak, grey beard, satchel slung over his shoulder.
Tell the Magister I haven't seen anyone suspicious.
Blast! Well, if you do see anything odd, report it immediately. There is a foul creature lurking in one of these shadows, and we will find him.
A foul creature? Look at the shadows over my shoulder. Surely there isn't a golem. No. I gotta raise an eyebrow. Who are they looking for exactly?
A sorcerer. He arrived dressed as a tinkerer, but then Magisters started disappearing.
He sounds like a good guy.
As soon as we asked him about it, he fled. Who knows what he's done with our divine brothers?
Looks like there's a typo. So it says, wonder if there's any other evidence. After all, not every criminal in a killer is what it says. It's probably meant to say is a killer. But I'm going to ask how they think this tinkerer is responsible.
He was seen with the effects of one of our company. Not only was he behind her disappearance, he brazenly flaunted it in the tavern.
Yeah.
We chased him to this factory, but lost him on the docks. Now, I have a patrol to complete. If you see anything, tell me.
The dog sniffs the wooden decking, like there's something wrong.
Something's wrong. Something's wrong, and it's not right.
Ask the dog what it's doing.
I don't know, but there's something wrong, and it's underneath the floor.
I'll tell the dog I'm going to investigate.
Be careful down there, mister. You're not smelling what I'm smelling.
So how do I get downstairs?
You see a man, well-fed and wealthy, but stress has lined his face and narrowed his waist. He tries to ignore your presence, fails. He sighs.
See here. I'm very busy. The factory is crawling with magisters, and our shipments to Arks are held up. Time is money. Don't waste my money. What do you want?
Ask him what the magisters are looking for.
A murderer, or a sorcerer, or some other species of miscreant. Whichever it is, it has nothing to do with me, except that it's stopping me shipping my fish into Arks. Now, please.
Ask who in Arks is buying void-tainted fish.
That's privileged information. I have a trade to protect.
Strength persuasion. Tell him he has a head to protect, too. If he doesn't want it bashed in, he's going to answer my question.
An excellent point. Well made. The answer to your question is, unsurprisingly, a man in a house. A man in the house buys all the void-tainted fish I can send him.
That dark shadow crosses his face once more. He shivers.
Not that I've ever met the man. Not sure I want to, if I'm honest.
I'd like to meet this man. I want the address.
Absolutely not. I don't give away sensitive information like that to anyone who just asks for it. And I don't keep it lying around, neither. That really is enough now. I'm asking you to leave. Good day.
Okay, so this... I'm looking for a way to get underneath... Oh.
If any of you see so much as a rat's hair out of place, you tell the magistrate.
Here we go. Move the crate. Don't squish the dog. Yeah, hands off. Okay, I need to put on my thieving belt. Thievery's still too low? Damn. Oop. Wow. Okay, it's still too low. I gotta need to find more pieces with thievery on it too. Okay, so how do I... Ooh, nope. How do I... I'm gonna have to start talking to people and figure out how do I get underneath.
The dwarf peers at an expertly dissected fish, gently poking its innards with his knife.
Fascinating. Most fascinating. Mm. Oh, my... I mean, no. What do you want?
I give a scholarly response saying recognize the incisions, the work of a healer or a scholar, not some fishmonger.
With a small grin, the dwarf glances between you and his handiwork and shrugs.
Indeed I am. They can close our schools, but they can't take away what I've been taught. Besides, there's still so much to learn.
Ask him what is there to learn from these foul-smelling fish.
Plenty. These tainted fish are causing a lot of hardship. If I can understand what's happening to them, perhaps there'll be a way to reverse the effects.
Ask him if I can help somehow.
Yes, as it happens. I need to see the effects of eating these fish firsthand, if you understand me.
I'll eat the fish. If he's sure it'll do some good.
Wonderful. Now, there's 3 samples that I wish to learn more about.
I'm gonna eat the yellow fish.
The fish instantly churns your insides. You double over in pain. A sudden vivid sensation of floating in darkness assails you. There's something in there with you. Something. Hungry and corrupt. You can't breathe. You can't breathe. The dwarf suddenly drifts back into view, peering at you with fascination.
How do you feel?
A stream of black bile suddenly erupts from your mouth and across the dwarf's boots. He doesn't even look displeased.
I'm gonna catch my breath and say that I saw things. Terrible things I can't even describe.
I see. Well, I'm sure it was nothing but a side effect of the fish. Speaking of which, I've learned a great deal from observing you. I owe you a great debt.
Ask what he learned from observing me.
The dwarf puffs up his chest and proudly gestures to the fish.
The fish is indeed malignant. Humans are affected by it in the same manner as other species.
I say that I'm willing to try another if the reward is increased to match my efforts.
Thank you, but no. I can only allow for 1 specimen per volunteer, or my findings could become flawed. The fish you ate is known as yellow ridgeback. Quite a cunning breed, often used in concoctions to increase alertness. But this one, touched by the void itself. Who is to say how such a creature might alter an alertness mixture? Seek out somewhere that peddles alertness herb mixes. Adding these unique ridgebacks might make quite the impact. So, now my work must continue, as soon as I've got in my quota of fish, of course. Farewell, stranger.
Bugger off, I'm busy.
Okay. How do I get below deck?
The dwarf reaches into a barrel and pulls out a fish. His knife glides through the scales, crimson guts spilling out in its wake. The innards fall to the floor, landing in a pool of dark bile. You'd expect fish to smell, but these reek.
I remarked that I know what death smells like. I know what rotting death smells like too. But these fish are something else entirely.
You see the nose on my face, don't you? I bloody know it smells, and I don't care as long as it sells. And sells it does. Somehow. But the boss has found a buyer for this lot. It's to be shipped off to Arts in the next wagon, if you'd believe it.
Wonder who would buy such foul-looking fish.
He runs his knife through another fish and flicks the blade, sending a shower of guts to the ground.
I'd say your guess is as good as mine. Except I got the sense not to ask any questions. Now why don't you march on? I ain't been paid to wag me chin.
The dwarf turns back to his work, slicing and disemboweling fish after fish, as the blood and black bile mix and swirl around his boots.
As a Fane response, I survey the barrels and spot something as I leave. Crude mortal script?
Looking at the barrel, you see that someone has scrawled Black House on it in paint. You cast your eyes around to see that every barrel headed to Arx has the same inscription.
Here, leave them barrels alone. I told you to take a hike, so scram!
Ah, glorified tubs. He must be somewhere else.
The dwarf looks you up and down, a scowl of repulsion on his face. He mumbles something about dwarvish decency under his breath and turns away from you.
I argue that his attitude's rather short-sighted. Best to stand together in times like these.
Ain't no one been standing together since Lucian died. Ain't been no goodwill among your kind, or mine, or anyone else's since the Reds have been in charge.
Wink and whisper I'm not exactly a fan of the Magisters either.
Glad to hear you say it. The day will come we'll overthrow 'em, you mark my words. Until then, I'll practice the art of gutting unspoiled fish.
Ask if he knows anything about this fugitive the Magisters are looking for.
Fugitive? Ah, yeah. I don't think that's something I should be discussing with strangers.
So, tell him it's very clear he dislikes the Magisters, so why not discuss an enemy of the Magisters?
Because I don't intend to end up with me lips stitched together, that's why. No, I shan't be baited. I ain't saying nothing on the topic no more.
Well, I'm going to use my strength persuasion by staring them hard in the eyes and say I can always beat it out of them. That was successful.
Godspeed, buggered, fine. I'll tell you all I know.
The dwarf leans in and begins whispering conspiratorially.
This fella runs along right, sweating, panicking. Reds racing after him like hunting hounds. Hide in a barrel, you fool, I yelled. And what do you know? He did. Problem is, he's still in there. Been hours. Can't go nowhere, he can't, not with the Reds around.
Oh, he's here in one of the barrels? Hey, asshole, give me the key for downstairs.
He glances up, recognizes you.
I'm busy. Goodbye.
He glances up, recognizes you.
I'm busy. Goodbye. If any of you see so much as a rat's hair out of place, you tell the Magisters.
You see a man, well fed and well...
I can't believe that actually works. That's funny. Whoop! Oh, that's not him. Thievery's too low. Thievery's too low. I was hoping I wasn't gonna have to put too many points into there.
Still no sign. I'll flush the rat out wherever he's hiding. He won't get another one of my brothers. So, report. Did you find anything?
I haven't seen anyone suspicious.
Blast! Well, if you do see anything odd, report it immediately.
I promise I will and
Foul
take my
creature
leave.
lucky.
I already heard that line. Imagine I'll be able to get downstairs maybe if I find this guy that's hiding in a barrel somewhere. Fine. What happened? Wait, where's the chicken? What happened to Peeper? He die? The Voidling died. No. That sucks. Alright, so.
I pity anyone hiding here. Voidwoken would get him before we do.
1 point into memory. 1 point into wits. I think this might be the last point into wits I put. This one I'm putting 1 point to polymorph. I guess I had 3 traits. And I can put 1 point to persuasion. I don't want to put this point into thievery. I'd rather make sure that I'm staying on top of story persuasions. For Elise, I'm what? 1 point into memory. 1 point into wits. It's my last point that I'm putting there. I'm gonna give her 1 point to polymorph. Oh, that's why polymorph gives us a free attribute point. I'll put that into intelligence. I'll give her a point in lore master. See what he got. Put another point of warfare. I'll give him Lucky Charm, that's what he's doing. Memory, wits. Oh, I meant to put 1 more point to intelligence. Shit. Memory, wits. Put a point into ranged. He gets a bartering point so that all my shit's cheaper when I buy stuff, and I'm able to sell for more. Feel sad that I lost the chicken. I don't know if that was just a time-based thing or if I needed to do something. I'll have to look it up next time, you know, when I do another playthrough after this blind one. Alright, I haven't the slightest idea how to get under because I don't have any way of unlocking this door.
Take some sorcery in the face, nasty Gallon.
This is going nowhere.
The conclusion of a noble bloodline. Who shall rise? Who gains the title most divine?
Keep your eyes peeled, will you?
We wait.
Ramos
We
the
wander
Wanderer
and
promised he'd be
wonder,
here.
seeking signs from the gods.
A prim woman in a starched apron wipes a glass with a clean rag. She pins you with blue, steel-sharp eyes as you approach the bar.
Blessings upon our Lucian, 7 times divine.
I give a scholarly response. A common greeting I know from a generation ago is what she told me, so I'm gonna do the respond in kind, in which I say his 7 blessings upon us undeserving.
The soft lines of her face fold into a warm smile. She sets the glass on the counter and pours you a generous portion of an amber liquor.
I see your mother raised you very well indeed. You and my Niles would get along. Nice to see an unfamiliar face. What brings you to Driftwood, darling?
I already killed Niles, so whoops. I shudder as I recall a certain Niles I met in Fort Joy. A sadistic torturer. Describe his appearance and ask if I have the right man.
Yes, that's my boy. Did you know him? Finest physician in all of Reaper's Coast. Top of his class. My, but it's been too long since I've seen him.
Say I did know him to be a fine physician.
A fine physician indeed. That's my boy. Some say all a growing child needs is food and sunshine. I say abstinence and chastity will grow him finer than either one of those.
That explains so much.
Oh, but it's so good to meet a friend of Niles. Here, have a little something to eat. Niles' favourite, you know. No one in our little town can appreciate work so fine as his, you know. All his instruments and books are stored away upstairs, all but forgotten. It's such a terrible waste.
What's my stats? I don't know what my stats are. Shit. I don't think my intelligence is that high. My constitution. I'm gonna do a wit scholar response. Tell her I'm still in awe of Niles' work with a scalpel. He taught me so much. Persuasion successful.
Well, I'd love to show you, but I'm afraid I can't leave the bar unattended. This crowd isn't to be trusted, believe you me. But I suppose, well, there's no harm, is there? You seem to be a good sort. One of Lucian's own, isn't that right?
Yep. Yeah, sure.
Here, take this key and head on up the stairs. You'll find Niles' room there. He'd want to know his fine things weren't languishing unappreciated in his old room.
Thank you.
Curiosity kills the cat, or gets it sent to Fort Joy. You're willing to risk Fort Joy for one night with a lizard? Then you're an idiot. You've got to pick who you can trust.
You got that right, Hilga. You got that right.
And I'm saying you can trust me. I can see a soul.
Guide to Trolls. T is for Troll by Harlan B. The term troll behavior refers to the way trolls live their lives, from killing and feeding to rowing and courtship rituals. Once you've begun to identify the trolls in your local meadows and caves, your next step is to find out how they behave. Luckily, this book is here to help. All trolls make for formidable foes, not just due to their size, but due to the talents for health regeneration. Something that I know stereotypically is holding across several games, so they're keeping to that. A half a dozen adventurers could spend many a minute slashing away at a troll, only to make nary a permanent mark upon it. Some adventurers insist that burning or poison may prevent a troll from regenerating. Imagine their surprise when a troll wields those same skills against them with no apparent harm. This is because some trolls are weaker than others against certain elements. Virulent trolls will use poison freely, but are averse to sun and keep to shadow. They are vulnerable to fire, which is just as well. You'll need a torch when searching for them. Blaze-boned trolls are eternally thirsty and thus tend to congregate near rivers and ponds. Use poison on them if you wish to halt their healing capabilities. Amphibious trolls can breathe both under and above water, but they prefer clean and fresh air, given how quickly their tender lungs fill with fog and smoke. Behavioral notes. Death fog kills most living things instantly, but trolls may actually develop immunity with mild, prolonged exposure. If you encounter such a beast, they may be harmed only when a curse is applied to the appropriate attack method. Trolls are typically omnivores, but many are known to develop a taste for humanoid flesh. These creatures often lose their weaknesses entirely, though as constructs of flesh and blood, they're not indestructible. I'm learning some neat stuff. Mine.
Boring.
Mine. Here's a book. Rock of Ages. Hubert Heron ruminates on the power of certain sorcerers to manipulate the very earth beneath their feet. Great boulders may fly through the air, the dirt may mutate and poison the unwary, and a warrior may become a walking fortified redoubt. Hubert goes to great pains to seem both disgusted and baffled, but mostly he seems fascinated. Origins of Lucian. There was a great need then, unfathomable forces of darkness, forces so great the seven themselves could not hold them at bay, began to gather like a storm clouds over our great realm. And so they made a decision. They would put their differences, their rivalries, their pride aside and join in a single avatar, one who could unite their power into a single almighty force of order and good. Lucian was chosen from amongst those summoned. Lucian the Worthy, Lucian the Holy. 7 times divine was he, and yet he still fell. Oh, there's a dead rat. This thick and peppy guide recommends visits to a number of Ark's landmarks, including its famed cathedral, especially on Lucian Day, the city's busiest holiday. It also makes a cautionary statement not to attempt a challenge called the Path of Blood, and to ask Aru, keeper of Lucian's crypt, about the history of the trial. Meat cleaver to sell. There's a fishing pole. Cradleson's Silly Book of Blanks. What's this? Oh. Oh, Face Ripper.
Good find. Absolutely not. The coffers, man. The coffers, they're to be guarded day and night. Yes, of course.
I don't need to.
You've got a pick and you can trust.
You got that right, you got that right.
And I'm saying you can trust me. I can see a sorcerer from a mile away. And you can't be too careful, you know? If they can get Alexander, they can get any of us.
Here was a journal. But the Blanchard boy was lame and had no use of his left foot anyway, and I gave him plenty of amber ale to numb the pain as well. Quite kind of me, all things considered. Mother's punishment was formidable. Next time I'll do what needs to be done so that she'll never find out. I only have myself to blame for leaving the Blanchard boy alive. Doesn't seem like there's anything interesting in here.
It seems less lush somehow.
It's as lush as it's always been. Now train your eyes on my treasures, not my person.
Curiosity kills the cat, or gets it sent to Fort Joy.
You're willing to risk Fort Joy for one night with a lizard? Then you're an idiot.
Alright, I'm in something called the Captain's Cabin. I'm gonna sneak. I'm gonna put on my 2 thieving pieces. And I am going to creep and steal everything.
Curiosity kills the cat, or gets it sent to Fort Joy. You're willing to risk Fort Joy for one night with a lizard? Then you're an idiot.
Alright. I'm gonna save just in case this goes sideways. Pick the lock. Thievery's too low. I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna toss it to somebody else. And I am gonna walk out of this room.
Curiosity kills the cat, or gets it sent to Fort Joy. You're willing to risk Fort Joy for one night with a lizard?
Bell rings a warning and the tide is on the turn.
Then you're an idiot.
Oh.
Ah, finally. Your colleague over there is absolutely useless. I'll have a bowl of the house stew, if you please.
I tell him I'm not a server.
Oh, pity. I've been trying to get a little something to eat all day. But the giggleheads who run this establishment don't seem to be willing to provide a fellow with his fair portion.
After all I've been through, too.
He lowers his gaze, then looks up at you expectantly.
Relent and ask him what's the matter.
His lip trembles dramatically.
It's my mentor. My dear mentor. He was killed by those void beasts. I told him we ought not to travel in the hills, but would he listen? No. Now here I sit, my closest companion gone, our precious cargo worth more than Lucian's right ring, lost to the beast-infested wilds.
Precious cargo worth more than... Alright, I'm listening.
And the waiter won't even bring me any stew.
Ask him to tell me more about his missing supplies. Perhaps I could retrieve it.
Oh, then perhaps my luck has changed. Yes, perhaps this awful business might soon be behind me.
Tell me, how are you with, well, Void Woken?
I say that I've slain them before and I plan to do it again.
Ah, terrific news. Then what I ask will be little more than a trifling. My mentor, Liam, and I were hauling in a goodly number of fine wares from the Southlands when we crossed paths with a great brute of a Void Woken.
It made short work of Liam, may the gods rest his soul. I managed to escape, but my precious cargo was left behind. We'd invested our entire livelihood in those wares. I'll do anything to get them back.
I say that I should be able to get the supplies back, but I'm going to want my fair share of the takings.
Of course. Of course. We'll, discuss the specifics once you've returned.
Uh-huh.
Now, give me your map. I'll show you just where to look. I doubt those beasts out there have any use of such a cargo. I can't tell you how thoroughly you've made my day. Good luck.
My sorcerers, a most vile incident. A valiant warrior against the void.
He fixes you with a stare, looks you up and down, weighs you up, the cut of your cloth, the weight of your bag. A moment passes. Then a smile creases his face. A smile carefully constructed to look friendly and authentic. A smile that doesn't reach his eyes.
Greetings, stranger. Looking to ease the pain of a decaying world? You're in the right place. Beers are ordered at the bar, but can I interest you in a nourishing bowl of stew?
Tell him I'm looking for something with a little more spice to help pass. Oh, no, never mind. Ask for a bowl of stew. Not that I'm hungry.
A bold choice, on the face of it, unless you're looking for something a little more tantalizing than a meaty stew and a mildly alcoholic brew.
He raises an eyebrow and gives you a sly look.
Sure.
Valiant warrior against the void.
You're good with the Magisters caging anyone up
Taken
that
too early. All hope destroyed.
Tell him I'm getting feeling and even bolder choices available for those with the money to pay for it.
He purses his lips. His fingers drum a pattern on his elbow as he assesses you.
Memory persuasion. Tell him to stop stalling and come right out with it. Persuasion successful.
A lascivious smile spreads across his face. His tongue darts from his mouth to lick the spittle from his lips.
Let me ask you this. Across the world, who is renowned above all others for their exquisite lovemaking abilities?
I'm gonna give the Fane response. The memory of having skin causes me to blush deeply. Haven't really got much experience.
Well, isn't that a shame? Listen, my friend. There's no lover livelier than a lizard. And for an insignificant sum, I can introduce you to the most luscious lizard the world has ever known.
Pass. I had something else in mind.
Well, this is what's available. Take it or leave it. And
He holds out his hand.
Change my mind, change the subject.
We don't have anything else to discuss, so if you...
Yeah, I'm not interested in that. So I'm looking for two guys here, I think.
Out in the open.
She nods an uninterested greeting.
Here for the fight?
Fight, I ask. What fight?
This is a tavern. People are drinking. Eventually there'll be a fight. You planning on starting one?
I admit that I'm tempted.
Well, I look forward to beating the shite out of you then. Bye now. Till later.
Taken too
If I want something, I'll let you know. Another sorcerer on the loose. I knew they should have cut off the Meister's head and burned the rest. Gotta make sure it don't grow back.
Arguing with Mac is like giving medicine to the dead. He's as stubborn as a corpse and smells the part to boot. No wonder Papa Thrash gives him the stink anytime he tries to go downstairs.
I'm telling you, if they got nothing to hide, they got nothing to be scared of.
Hey, back away from the stairs or you'll find out exactly why they call me Papa Thrash.
Throw him in a hole for all I care. It's the greater good.
Be glad you don't have to let us listen to the smaller good if it bit you on the arse.
Oh, I didn't put on my regular gloves back on.
What would I do without you,
Ooh. Oh, yeah, I'm buying that because it has a point into thievery. I'm looking at the gloves for actual, real reasons. Strength, crit, 18 physical armor, 2 magic armor versus only 5 more physical, but a lot. That's what, another 16 magic armor, 2 initiative, and 2 critical strike. I'm losing 3 crit, 1 strength for, sorry, 7 physical more, 7 more physical armor, and 16 magic armor. Yeah. I'll do that. Otherwise, I'm fine everywhere else. I can also unload random things here. Oh. Alright, so. Yeah, I didn't buy the chest for me, I bought it for the thieving. But I think it is an upgrade over his. Because it gives 2 finesse, range, sneaking, thievery. It's got a lot of stuff on it. But I need to wait until I'm sure that I've got replacements for his boots and everything. Because right now these stats are based on it being level 8, and that's what level it is when you have the full set on. I think it all falls to like level 6 and 7, stuff like that afterwards. So I need to have replacements for him otherwise. But the gloves are for me. For right now. I keep these gloves because just like the armor of Fane's wearing, these Devour set, it'll end up going up to level 20 once I find it all.
Hold it. Papa no, you no go.
Wide-eyed, I asked him what's down in the cellar.
None of your beeswax, unless you got a reason to be here.
I give an outlaw response from Ifran.
He grabs your hand eagerly and laughs as you execute the finicky ending maneuver with much panache.
You're the right sort for downstairs, and no mistake. On you go, on in.
Nope, something's about to happen.
Look at that. A fresh face. And a pretty little kisser it is, too. Good to meet you, Governor. What's your poison, then? A sip or a smoke?
Let me see what she has to offer.
Take all the time you need. Pleasure doing business with you, Governor.
Okay, that's it. Take my leave.